Welcome back, black and gold fans and all college football fans alike, to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, the only channel where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football, and the channel where we have all things college football covered. If you have been wandering around lost in the wilderness, trying to find a place to call home, if you're a fan looking for a gathering place, a safe zone, a safe haven, welcome home. This is the channel for you. I'm your host, Blair Parks. It's great to be back with you. And today I bring you my conference championship picks. I can't believe that conference championship weekend is upon us. So it all comes down to this. And it's very bittersweet just to say that and to recognize that conference championship week has arrived. So that just means that the regular season is about to wrap up. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of the 2023 college football season. That old saying that we all hear as while we're youngsters in our youths, that the older you get, the faster time flies. That ain't no joke. But anyway, let's go ahead and give pause and give thanks to everything college football, because what a great season it has been and will continue to be, because I absolutely, like you, expect big time action, big time happenings during the upcoming bowl season as well. And before I say any more, I'd like to thank you for your time, your attention, for all that you have done for the channel. Likes, subscriptions, rates, views, comments are all trending up in the right direction, but I need your help. I want to find more college football fans just like you, so please help spread the word. Tell your friends, your family members, colleagues, and your fellow college football fanatics to check me out here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, and please subscribe, smash that button to get notifications. And if this is your first time watching one of my episodes, I always ask for, welcome, and want your participation. So please exercise your right. Let your college football voice be heard. I absolutely want you to get involved. Please comment below to anything that I say in response to if you agree or disagree. Have I left something out? Or just feel free to give me any of your deepest thoughts or insights, and I promise you I will get back to each and every one of you much sooner than later. All right, so big episode today. I can't wait to get down to talking about the conference championship matchups, but I have 3 quick segments for you today. Before I get to my picks, I want to start off with my updated Heisman Trophy candidates. And if, as of today, heading into the conference championship games, these young men would be my 4 finalists for this year's coveted Heisman Trophy Award given out at the New York City Athletic Club. So going into it, I think these are the 4 individuals who have separated themselves. And some of them, well, actually 2 of them, are going to have one final opportunity to make a statement to sway the voters in their favor, but we'll have to wait and see. And then after my final Heisman Trophy finalist list, I will then go into consecutively my conference championship matchup picks and a quick preview with those. And then I am going to go ahead and, based off of my predictions and my picks, I am going to unveil to you how I see the college football playoff participants and field being unveiled on Sunday afternoon, so you won't be surprised. Well, you might be. But if everything shakes out the way that I see it, these are going to be the final 4 standing, and I will give you additionally the first 2 out. So hang out, get comfortable, and let's go ahead and get it on. All right, so let's go ahead and move into heading into conference championship weekend. Here is my final list of the 2023 Heisman Trophy finalists. I've had several individuals both rise and fall, appear, and then disappear off of my list. I've been sharing this with you each and every week. But here are the 4 individuals who I believe warrant invitation to NYC at a chance to claim this year's coveted award. They are in alphabetical order: LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels, Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., Oregon quarterback Bo Nix, and finally, Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Now, as I said in the open, only 2 of these individuals are going to be playing during this weekend, and they're going to be facing off mano-a-mano. And that will be the quarterbacks from Oregon and Washington, Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. Now, as of right now, this moment, if I was a Heisman Trophy voter, the individual who I would go ahead and put my vote for, because I believe he is the best player in all of the land, to me, it's a slam dunk. It has to be LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels. Now, I get it. All right, we have a huge matchup between those Pac-12 powerhouses. And more than likely, this is what's going to happen because the voters still have till the end of the weekend to submit their official votes. I think whoever wins that matchup between Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. ultimately will be crowned this year's Heisman Trophy winner. But it's just a shame that Jayden Daniels doesn't have one more opportunity to shine. Because I look at him, he is this LSU ball team. If this team had any remnants of a defense, LSU could very easily have gone undefeated. I mean, I look at LSU, and let's say they watch my Iowa Hawkeye defense, they probably salivate. Just, oh my gosh, I wish we could have that defense here in Baton Rouge. Just like we as Iowa fans salivate to watch the LSU offense led by Jayden Daniels. I mean, fair is fair. But I think he is everything that's good about this game. I mean, he's action-packed, he's dynamic, he makes things happen, and he's must-watch TV. He reminds me a lot of all of those years ago when RG3, Robert Griffith III of Baylor, won the Heisman Trophy. Baylor was not the best team in the nation. They had a few good wins, but hands down, he was the best player in the nation. But unfortunately now, like all sports, it seems like, that the major award, whether it's Heisman Trophy, MVPs, they seem to always go to the best player on the best team. That is not the purpose of awards. It is to recognize the individual who is the best, regardless of their team's record and what they mean to that team. So following the tradition, it has to be Jayden Daniels. But as I said, I'm afraid it is going to be either Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr., depending on who wins this week's matchup and if the winner looks good doing it. So there definitely has to be some style points. So that is my list of the final Heisman Trophy finalists. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with my list? Like, share, comment, subscribe, let me know. And we'll go ahead and move on to the big segment of the week, the primetime segment, the spotlight segment. I'm talking about my preview and picks for all the conference championship matchups coming up this weekend. There are 10 of these total, and I just can't wait to get down to business here. I mean, I look forward to this weekend every year, and it is bittersweet, as I said, because that does signify that the season is coming to an end much sooner than later. But let's go ahead and get started here. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the Friday night games first, and then move into the Saturday matchups. I'm going to go ahead and start off with a game that's really under the radar, and I kind of think it's going to be very highly neglected because it's on the same night as that Pac-12 title game matchup that I've already mentioned. I'm talking about the Conference USA title game, which That is going to be the Aggies. No, not those Aggies, the other Aggies of New Mexico State. They will face off with number 24 Liberty. Now, Liberty won the regular season Conference USA crown, so they will host this matchup. New Mexico State comes in with a record of 10-3 compared to Liberty's perfecto. They sit there 12-0. And how Vegas sees this game, they see the New Mexico State Aggies a 10.5-point underdog as of today, just prior to me recording this episode. So how do I see this game playing out? I'll admit it, I haven't watched a lot of these two teams in action this year. I mean, I've barely watched Liberty at all, and I've watched just a tad of New Mexico State. But, you know, you've got two really different type of coaches. You have very nuanced, very progressive, new style, hip. You've got Jamey Chadwell, who coaches Liberty, formerly coached, was on the sidelines of the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, up against the guy who's really traditional, hard-nosed, kind of a historian of college football, Coach Jerry Kill, a guy who I root for very deeply down here. All of those years I spent down at SIU Carbondale as an alum, as a faculty member. He was coaching at the time, and then he moved on to Northern Illinois, and then ultimately to Minnesota. And you got to love Coach Kill. I mean, he is one of the great men of the game, a great humanitarian, and really just a proven winner. No matter where he's gone, all he has done is win. That's what he does all the time. All he does is win, no matter what. Sorry, I couldn't resist, guys. And Jamey Chadwell, he takes over there at Liberty, kind of the house that Hugh Freeze built. Hugh Freeze, you know, if you don't know, has now moved on as the new head coach at Auburn last season and went 6-6 his first year down there on the plains at Auburn. So this game, you know, I really want to root, and I do root for Coach Kill, but I just think Liberty, they're cooking with gas. You know, Jamey Chadwell has just continued what Hugh Freeze started there in Lynchburg, Virginia, I believe is where it's located. You know, no disrespect to Liberty fans if I've botched that, but I believe that's where it is. And I do not do any retakes. I don't do any edits here in the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, because then it would be work and not a hobby. I've already got a full-time gig, married, 2 children. I don't need any more work. This is strictly just for fun and for pleasure. I'm going to go with the Liberty Flames on this one. I just can't go against them, and especially they have a lot riding on this game. This is their first year as a conference affiliate. They were an independent in seasons past, but they have a chance to get to the New Year's Six Bowl game as the highest ranked non-Power 5 champion. It's really going to come down to either Liberty or Tulane. So a lot to play for the Flames. At home, tough task for the Aggies. I'm taking the Flames in this one. Now, the second game on Friday night, and this is really going to have to be must-see TV. You definitely don't want to miss this one. I mean, all of these are must-watch, but if it comes down to the pecking order, or as far as order of, hey, which one is really going to have the biggest effect on the college football playoff field, I think this game is numero uno. The Pac-12 title game, number 5 Oregon faces number 3 Washington in Las Vegas, where these two teams will meet up. Oregon comes in 11-1, Washington 12-0. The only loss this year suffered by Oregon was at the hands of the Washington Huskies. And like I said, 2 Heisman Trophy finalists lead the teams on the field. And surprisingly, as of today, Washington would be in the CFP, being number 3, and they are undefeated. But yet, via Vegas, they are a 9-point underdog to the team that they beat earlier this season. Very, very strange line. And it makes me kind of scratch my head and and contemplate and ask myself, what does Vegas know that maybe we don't? I cannot wait to watch this game. It's going to be plenty of offense. I mean, Oregon has looked absolutely phenomenal the second half of the season. Washington, over the last few weeks, has struggled down the stretch. They have won, but they have been pushed to the brink, especially last week in this year's edition of the Apple Cup against Washington State, who had a losing record coming in, and they needed a walk-off field goal, did Washington, to win. And Oregon, I mean, Bo Nix has the stats. If you want to give somebody the Heisman just because of stats, he's your guy. Just like Caleb Williams last year, the computer game-like numbers he put up. And that's really where a lot of the awards will go to these days. So I think Oregon is a stud team. And I know they are a trendy pick right now to beat Washington, get into the playoff. A lot of pundits, experts will tell you they believe Oregon is the best team, period, in the nation. But I'm going to stick with Washington. I just think that they're in Oregon's head a little bit. They're the underdogs in this matchup. I think Kalen DeBoer, their coach, will get them fired up because of that. And I just like Washington. And also because I picked Washington preseason to make the college football playoff field as well. So how can I turn my back on them now? So I'm taking the Huskies in an upset. Can't wait to watch this one. All right, let's move into Saturday's title game tilts. Let's start off with the MAC, the Mid-American Conference matchup. This pits Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks, against the Toledo Rockets. This game will be played in Ford Field in Detroit. We have Miami of Ohio comes in 10-2 to Toledo's 11-1. Vegas sees Miami of Ohio as a 7.5-point underdog in this matchup. Toledo's only loss this season was week 1 against Illinois, a game they could have won. Really came down to the wire. And Miami of Ohio's one of their 2 losses came earlier in the season against the Toledo Rockets. So we have a matchup here of the 2 best teams in this conference. Miami of Ohio, they have a Gabbert at the helm, quarterback, not Blaine Gabbert. I believe his younger brother, Brett Gabbert, I believe, is the quarterback for the Red Hawks. And I say that because I am a resident of the Show Me State, Missouri. St. Louis is just a stone's throw away. Kind of a local Missouri legend is Blaine Gabbert, going to Columbia, University of Missouri, in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just going with Toledo. I love their playmaker, stud quarterback Daquan Finn, a playmaker. He is dynamic. You've got to watch him. And I think there's just no slowing down this Toledo team. They have been battle-tested this season. They've come out victorious in some very, very close single possession games. I think they're battle-tested, and I think they get it done. They cruise comfortably to victory over the Red Hawks. Give me Toledo in the MAC title game. Next, let's get to the Big 12 title game. Another big game that is going to matter big time when it comes down to the college football playoff field, which will be unveiled on Sunday. We've got number 18, Oklahoma State, the Pokes. The Cowboys will take on number 7, Texas, and Bevo and the Longhorns. Oklahoma State comes in with a 9-3 record against Texas's 11-1. Oklahoma State is a big time underdog in this game. Vegas sees them as a 14.5-point underdog. I mean, once upon a time, this is really a nice Phoenix or rising from the ashes kind of story. Earlier this season, Oklahoma State had back-to-back losses at home against the Jaguars of South Alabama, and then on the road at Iowa State, the Cyclones. So a lot of people just left them for dead. But what did they do after that? They responded in a big way, and I think a lot of it due to the resurgence or the arrival, or maybe just Coach Gundy believing in Ollie Gordon II, their stud running back. They only went on to then beat Kansas, Kansas State, and Oklahoma, and potentially the very last Bedlam rivalry matchup we might see for a while. So good story for Oklahoma State as far as keeping yourself poised and focused and seeing it through the end. And Texas, we know who they are. They got that big non-conference win week 2 at Alabama down in Tuscaloosa. Hands down the most impressive non-conference victory this season. Now when you look back on things, and that one trip up was against their arch rival, Oklahoma, in this year's edition of the Red River Rivalry game that happened down in the Cotton Bowl. So can Oklahoma State hang with Texas? Can Ollie Gordon keep them physical? Can they control time of possession? Can they keep that vaunted Texas offense off the field? I can't wait to watch this game. I think it's going to be much closer and better than a lot of people believe, but I just can't go against the Longhorns in this game. I think they are kind of rolling and cresting at the right point. I mean, they're coming off of an absolute ass-kicking of Texas Tech. I mean, they put up a 50-burger at home last week against them. I don't see them slowing down. I think they win comfortably over Coach Gundy and his pokes. They're in Arlington, down in Jerry World. Give me Texas in Texas to get it done, as that team then says goodbye and kisses the Big 12 goodbye. For next season, they will be in the SEC conference officially. So give me the Longhorns in the Big 12 title game. Next game up on Saturday is the Mountain West Conference Championship tilt. This pits Boise State, the Broncos, against the UNLV Running Rebels. Yes, do you remember them? They're not only a basketball school. What a great season the Rebels have put together. Boise State comes in with a record of 7-5 against UNLV's 9-3. And UNLV, I mean, what a great job Coach Barry Odom has done there in rebuilding, bringing this program alive. The former Missouri DC and head football coach once upon a time in nearby Como. So great job coaching by Barry Odom. Boise State, they come in. They had a rough non-conference schedule. They lost 3 out of their 4 games to good teams, to solid teams. I mean, they lost to Washington, UCF, and Memphis. So that record isn't as bad as it says it is. So right there, I mean, going 7-2 in conference is not bad. Or actually, it'd be 6-2 in conference. That's not bad. Okay, not bad at all. UNLV actually is a 2-point underdog, and this game is hosted by UNLV in Las Vegas. So this is a tough one for me because at home, UNLV, they also have a win. If you've forgotten, does UNLV over a Power 5 conference team. Earlier this year, they knocked off Vanderbilt of the SEC. I mean, I get it. It's just Vanderbilt, but still, Power 5 is Power 5, all right? So I'm going with UNLV. I'm taking the Running Rebels here at home. I really don't see how Vegas thinks they're a 2-point underdog at home with the better record. And I believe early this season, Boise State, I think, might have defeated UNLV, though, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to leave it up to you. So if I botch that, please comment. Call me out. I don't mind being, you can throw me under the bus, called on the carpet, whatever. I've got no pride left, guys. I've been married too damn long. So please feel free. Comment, like, share, subscribe, get involved. I'm taking the Rebels in the Mountain West title game. Next game up on Saturday is the AAC, the American Athletic Conference title game. And this is SMU versus number 22 Tulane, the Green Wave. SMU comes in with a record of 10-2 to Tulane's 11-1. This game is hosted by Tulane down there in Louisiana. Via Vegas, they have SMU a 4-point underdog. And I have watched both of these teams a little bit this season. I love quarterback Michael Pratt of Tulane. SMU, even though they've had some losses with Tanner Mordecai leaving them in the offseason to be the new signal caller at Wisconsin, I really like this SMU team. I mean, one of their two losses, they lost to Oklahoma earlier this year, but gave them a run for their money. And I'm just not quite sold on Tulane. I mean, their only loss was against Ole Miss early this season at home. So Ole Miss came in. Michael Pratt did not play in that game. It was a three-quarter game, but Ole Miss did pull away late. And they've really escaped. I mean, down the stretch, they've had some very, very kind of finishes. I just think it's going to catch up with them. I really do. I like this SMU team. I like the Mustangs to go on the road, upset Tulane, and then with Tulane's loss and Liberty's win, I think Liberty will get the New Year's Six Bowl invite for the first time in their history, and we'll all be singing the jingle, Liberty, 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 Liberty. It'll take on a whole new meaning. Trust me. So I'm going with the SMU Mustangs in that matchup, guys. I just am. I'm taking the underdog. Next game up on Saturday to talk about is the Sun Belt Conference title game matchup. That it pits Appalachian State against Troy. The records are Appalachian State comes in 8-4. Troy is 10-2. This game is hosted by Troy down there in Alabama. So Vegas has this line. Appalachian State is a 6.5-point underdog when they shouldn't even be there, first of all. I mean, James Madison, the Duke, should be there, but thank the good Lord above that the NCAA did grant their appeal. James Madison will at least be able to participate in a bowl after going 11-1 this season, but they are not allowed to play for their conference championship game. It's really a shame, but at least they'll be playing, and let the boys play. NCAA, you say you're all about the student athlete. You want to put them in the best position for success on and off the field. Well, prove it, and they sort of did, but still denying the Dukes a chance to play for the conference title game. Absolute sham. I'm off my soapbox now, back to it. But Appalachian State, they have a history of pulling upsets. Just ask mighty Michigan about that, and Texas A&M a couple seasons ago. All they do is win on big stages, and they have before. Can they do it again against the men of Troy? I'm going with the no. I like Troy. This team is solid. I mean, remember, a team that had double-digit victories last season as well. Very, very consistent, proud program, plus it's at home. I'm taking Troy in this matchup. I think very easy. I think they do pull away and cover that big number. I'm taking Troy. All right, let's move on to another huge game. I'm talking about the SEC title game. Number 1 Georgia faces number 8 Alabama. This game will be taking place on a neutral site in Atlanta in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. UGA comes in 12-0, a perfect record on the season. Alabama is 11-1. Their only loss was to aforementioned Texas early this season in week 2. Via Vegas, they have Alabama a 6-point underdog in this matchup. And this is probably number 2 on the scale as far as college football playoff shakeup potential. And it does, because I think only one of these teams is going to get in. And I think the SEC coming into this week really is kind of teetering on being potentially that power conference team left out. All right? It's crazy to think about. The team that has dominated the landscape the better part of almost the last 2 decades with championship winners, but they're really on a pencil-thin line. And if certain things don't work out, I could see the SEC being left out of the college football playoff. I really can. But anyway, let's get back to this game. Will Georgia continue this win streak? Will they be able to win and advance to the playoff field at a chance to make history? to win 3 championships in a row. That'll be the first team since the Minnesota teams in the mid-1930s. Bama coming off that miraculous win last week in the Iron Bowl. Big-time pass and throw by Jalen Milroe to Isaiah Bond. On the back of the end zone as time expired to win on 4th and goal from the 31. Will that momentum carry over for the Crimson Tide? Now, we know about Georgia's recent dominance, all right? But how many of you are really going to bet against Alabama in this type of a situation? If Alabama loses, they're not going to the college football playoff. And remember, just 2 full seasons ago, we saw this same thing take place. That coming into the SEC title game, Alabama had to win and get in. Georgia was undefeated. And what did Alabama do? They beat them in this game. Because of that, and they've got the GOAT on the sideline, Coach Nick Saban, I just can't root against Alabama. I can't bet against them. I think Alabama is going to figure it out, snap the streak, hoist the SEC trophy. That's right, I'm taking another upset. Give me Alabama in the SEC title game. All right, 2 more to go, and then I'll unveil to you my final college football playoff rankings. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, get involved. I can't wait to hear from you. Now let's move into the ACC title game going on Saturday evening. That pits number 14 Louisville against number 4 Florida State. Louisville comes in 10-2 to Florida State's perfect 12-0. Louisville coming off a tough, gut-wrenching loss during rivalry week at home against Kentucky in the Commonwealth Cup rivalry game. Florida State, they were able to escape Gainesville, the swamp, to take care of their in-state rival Florida last week. In backup quarterback Ronamaker's first ever career start. And this game is also at a neutral site in Charlotte, North Carolina. Via the books, Louisville is a 2.5-point underdog in this matchup. This is going to be another one of these games that potentially could shake up the college football playoff field. You have a very good offense in Louisville. I've watched them, and plus I know their head coach, all right? Us Hawkeye fans, we know the offensive brain that Coach Brom has. I mean, he torched us more often than not, an idiot's of aunts, an offensive guru. They're going to score points. Now, I do believe Florida State's defense is better, and I think they will be able to slow Louisville down a little bit. But I just wonder if they're going to be able to keep pace offensively with Louisville's big play offense. And they are quick up and down the field. When they're rolling, all right? And because of that, I just got a feeling that Louisville is going to do what Coach Brom teams have done in the past. They're going to find a way to simply outscore their opponents. That's right. I'm taking another upset. I'm rolling with the Cardinals of Louisville. I think they get it done and they ruin Florida State's party. And it is very unfortunate. I mean, this team is much different with the loss of stud quarterback Jordan Travis. I wish him the best of recovery. I really would have liked him to finish the season because if he was in this game, I might be picking differently. But I'm going with Louisville in this game. I just am. All right, so give me the Cardinals in the ACC title game. Now, last but certainly not least, the Big Ten title game matchup. This pits number 2 Michigan against number 16 Iowa, the Hawkeyes. Michigan comes in with a perfect 12-0 record against Iowa's 10-2. Woo, big time wins last week, but in different fashions and facets for each of these teams. Of course, Michigan defeated their arch rival, that team up north, in this year's edition of The Game, while Iowa survived Lincoln, Nebraska against Big Red on Black Friday in a very, very Iowa-type fashion victory. 13-10, a walk-off field goal, very Iowa game-like. And via the books, wow, and I am not making this up, but Vegas has Michigan right now a 22.5 point, Iowa a 22.5 point underdog in this game in Indianapolis, neutral site. Whew. I mean, I believe anything could happen. All right, and could I very easily follow my heart and my head and pick Iowa? I could. But you know what? I'm a realist. I am not a Homer Simpson. I am objective and subjective, both. I mean, but would I like to see my Hawkeyes win? Absolutely. It's been such a year full of adversity, the worst offense in all of the nation, the ongoing joke against, in my opinion, the best defense in the nation, not littered with 4- and 5-star recruits, but giving up just over 12 points a game. It's sick. Will they slow down Michigan? I think they can, and they will. But I just don't see Iowa being able to score enough points. And I think for Iowa to win this game, they have to score at least 21 to 22 points, I believe, at a shot to win. I think they're capable of that, but I'm not banking on it. I love this Michigan team. Coach Harbaugh's back. I think that'll be an instant lift to the team. That'll give them a little bit more motivation. Their mindset right now with the ongoing signage, Spygate, that I think that's only going to fuel the fire, basically give them more motivation and inspiration. Us against the world. I like Michigan in this game. I just do. Hawk fans, I'm sorry. Hopefully I'm wrong about this. I just want to see a good competitive game, not like what we saw 2 seasons ago when Michigan defeated Iowa, the same matchup, 42-3. I don't want to see that play out again, okay? But I do like Michigan, and plus I did pick them preseason. They were my national championship winner, so I did have them in the college football playoff field, and simply they win, and they're in. So I'm taking the Wolverines over my Hawkeyes, but I hope I am wrong. There's always a chance. That's why we play the games. So like Lloyd Christmas would say, so you're saying I got a chance. We do. All right, so my final segment, and please let me know what you think about my analysis, my insight, my picks. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, get involved. And now, based off of my picks, here is how I see the College Football Playoff Committee unveiling the final college football playoff rankings on Sunday afternoon. I think with those big-time upsets, Alabama over Georgia, Louisville over Florida State, Washington over Oregon, I think there is going to be a lot of mix-up, all right? So here they are, a little drum roll or the curtain call. Dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. You know the Fox movie intro there. All right, so let's go through these 1 through 6, and I can't wait to get your feedback and your response to these. Here we go. Number 1, I'm going to go with the number 1 overall seed. After their victory over Iowa, the Michigan Wolverines will be the 1 seed, also with Georgia losing to Alabama. So I've got Michigan number 1. Number 2, moving up 1 spot with their victory over Oregon. I like the Washington Huskies, the Pac-12 champions, undefeated, to move up to the 2 seed. Number 3, now this is where it's going to get very interesting. Let me know what you think. After their convincing win over Oklahoma State, that's right, I've got the Big 12 champion Texas Longhorns, the number 3 seed in the final playoff rankings. And number 4, this is where I hope to get a little bit of discussion going, because it really comes down to it. All right, and I'll tell you why. Number 4, after their upset in the SEC title game, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide being the 4 seed. Number 5 will be Georgia, the first team out, followed by 6, the second team out, is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, you're probably asking, okay, 1-2, Michigan, Washington, I can see that. But why Texas and Alabama? Here's why. I think Texas, having the best non-conference victory and being a conference champion, will get in. So some of you might be saying, well, doesn't Alabama deserve to be the 3? I mean, that means they beat the number 1 team in the nation. True. But we cannot completely crumple up and throw out the regular season. It has to matter for something. And Texas going to Alabama and winning on Alabama's turf in Tuscaloosa, you have to put Texas in. And you cannot put Alabama in without taking Texas. You just can't do that. And if that does happen, there is no justification, nothing the committee can say or any of you fans can say to where Alabama should be in and not Texas. You cannot do that. You can't. All right? You cannot. The regular season has to count for something. And hats off to both of those schools for scheduling that kind of a matchup in the non-conference, something that a lot of teams simply do not do. Okay? So I've got Georgia 5 because the SEC does not deserve 2 teams. And if 2 teams go undefeated ahead of them, Michigan and Washington, they're going to be in. And I already pleaded my case why Texas has to be in with Alabama. Or Alabama can't without Texas, however you want to look at it. And I think Georgia will be the first team left at home. I just think they will. So let me know what you think about my 1-6 college football playoff rankings and how the field's going to shake out according to yours truly. Please get involved. Let me know what you think. I cannot wait to hear from you. Expect me to be back either tomorrow or first thing Friday. I want to have a little detailed preview of the Big Ten title game between Michigan and my Hawkeyes. Be on the lookout for that. So until then, thank you for your time, your attention. Enjoy the rest of your work week, your school week, and make sure to enjoy the upcoming football this weekend. It's been an absolute pleasure for me to be with you once again this season, sharing my love of everything college football with you, my fellow fans, brothers and sisters. What an absolute pleasure it's been. So until tomorrow or this weekend, thank you, and I'll see you soon here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Take care.